भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम My dear friends, let me say a special welcome to each and every one of you on this the second night of 5 nights of Gita Gyan Yajna. This evening, of course, to the noble Brahmins first of all, to my brother Pandits, Pandit Navin, Pandit Prakash, Pandit Rajesh. This evening, our seniors, Pandit Ram Latan Maharaj, Anana, Pandit Chandra Dutt is here with us this evening, Pandit Ayodhya Prasad, Pandit Ram Pratap Ramali, who is seated just behind. My good friend Dinesh, one day I will address him as Pandit Dinesh Maharaj on stage. To you, my dear friends, the members of the family. Pandit Anand, of course, who sits on the stage, heavily bedecked in the most beautiful of his clothing. And to each and every one of you, my dear friends, this evening I want to say a special welcome on behalf, of course, of Bhauji and her family. To our friends who listen, and my good friend Dev Ram Suchit, together with our friends who listen via Radio Jagruti, nationally and internationally, of course, we also want to say our special welcome. This evening, of course, the second night. Last night before I left, Bhauji indicated to me that today, of course, marks the 14th death anniversary of the passing of her husband, the late Lali Rangu. And so, in accordance with such, that which I have chosen to read this evening, of course, grants the greatest of blessings. The verses of the Gita when chanted, it is stated, if one slok one is fortunate to listen to, if not even one slok, half of a slok. If not even such, my dear friends, just for a moment, ek matra, one is privileged to listen to the verses of the Gita. Truly one, not only one, but one's entire generation becomes blessed. So before we begin Katha this evening, let us all sit upright as we clasp hands, close our eyes and bow our heads as we meditate upon the lotus-like feet of Bhagwan Sri Krishna, seeking his blessings. Hare Om. Sri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswate Namaha, Shri Guru Charana Kamalinga Vanshi Vibhushata Karanavani Pitambaradarumim Bhavadharoshita Purnindu Sundaramukha Aravindranita Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvam Manye Kasturi Tilakam Lalapapatale Vakshastami Kaustubham Nasane Benu kare Sarvange Harichandanam Sulalitam Kantesha Muktahari Gopastri Parivishkito Vijayati Gopala Vasudeva Sudam Devam
Jai
Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Together, my dear friends. Shri Krishna Govinda He Nath Yanavasudeva. Again, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Yanavasudeva We ended and we concluded with the last verse of the first chapter where Bhagavan is confronted with the great Arjuna, his friend, his disciple, sunken in a state of grief, laying down, of course, the Gandhiva bowl and refusing to even take it up nor entertain the thought of performing what Bhagavan, of course, or circumstances has placed him in that position to do. Bhagavan, of course, observing and looking at the state of this Arjuna, He begins very beautifully in the second chapter, as Sanjay continues to recite once again for the blind king by the name of Dhritarashtra. Sanjay Uvacha Tam tatha kripaya vishtam asvapurna kule kshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudana Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopakumaraya govindaya namo namah Om Kim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijannavallabhaya namah Tam tatha kripaya vishtam asvapurna kulekshanam. Bhagwan is explaining, Sanjay Sari is saying, listening like this, Bhagwan then of course began to speak to Sri Krishna. Vishadantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. Saying, Arjun with tears streaming down his eyes, filled, my dear friends, with the sadness and the deep compassion within his heart, and agitated, full of sorrow. Bhagwan, of course, in that state, Sri Bhagwan Vacha, Bhagwan begins to speak. Bhutasva kashamalumidam vishame samupanashkitam anadya tushtam asvargam akirtam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhutasva kushalamidam. That Arjun is telling Bhagwan. Sorry, Bhagwan is telling Arjun that Arjun, you are not known to be this way by your nature. In other words, you are driven, of course, by that warrior instinct. But what I am observing here, Arjun, is not that which I see within you. For you are a Kshatri, and the Kshatri's duty is, of course, Vishami Samupashtitam. That what is inside of you, O great Arjun, what has overtaken you? Upashtitam. How is it you are acting contrary to the way that you normally are? Bhagwan is, of course, drawing the reference for such that he is explaining that this type of behavior which you follow, O Arjun, it will neither bring a swargam, it is not conducive to heaven, you will not go to heaven with it. A kirtan, you will not even gain fame with it, O Arjun, you will remain without fame. But tell me, neither of these things will come to you, O Arjun. Why is there such a dilemma, or why is there such a predicament within your mind? Bhagwan is attempting now to remind him of what his true duty is. So too with us, my dear friends. From time to time, we waver from that duty which we rightfully have to perform. Sometimes when confusion dawns within our minds, we have to turn to our gurus, our elders, but most importantly, to our scriptures. Bhagwan becomes the form, the embodiment of the scriptures that is speaking to Arjun. That whenever in doubt, whenever we have difficulty, Bhagwan is saying that, oh Arjun, from time to time, men do fall. From time to time, men do waver in what they have to do. But, oh Arjun, reminded you are of what your true nature is. Klepyam asma gamaha partha naitatvam upapadyate Chudram hridray daubalyam tvakto tishti parandapa. Bhagwan is saying that, oh Arjun, do not yield. Do not yield to this type of unmanliness, that which does not bequeath you, O Arjun. Shake off this faint-heartedness. And he uses parantapa. Parantapa, my dear friends. Arjun is described as being called Parantapa. Parantapa means the one who is the scorcher or the destroyer of their enemies. Bhagwan, through the words and speaking to him, is reminding him, just as when we go, my dear friends, all of us will get a little trouble in life. Which one of us don't fall from time to time? Even us. We are only humans. And from time to time, we do lose that faith. From time to time, sometimes we get, when tiredness and fatigue and so forth takes us over. From time to time, we do. But Bhagwan, that is why he says, look how skillful Bhagwan is. That Shudram Hatya, that Parantapa, he is reminding Arjun that, oh Arjun, you are the destroyer of your enemies. That is the type of valiance. That is the type of energy that burns within you, O Arjun, that tell me, awake yourself from such a, O great one. Do not fall prey to such a, in the chapter before, in the slope before, Bhagavan is telling him that whatever you are doing is not conducive to the greater good. It is not conducive, and that, my dear friends, is what we have to think. Whether the actions that we perpetrate in life, or the actions or the dharma that we undertake, is it for a greater good, or does it serve a purpose of just temporary happiness? In other words, we will get a happiness for a little time, and after time that happiness goes. What happens when that happiness is finished? It is like any material thing in this world. You have an accumulated sum of wealth. It is just like cotton, karpas. You have an accumulated sum of wealth, and when that has been exhausted, if it is not replenished, in other words, if you don't pull it back, then what is going to happen? So Bhagavan says, he's telling Arjun that this type of thinking, Arjun, is not what I am accustomed to seeing in you. For you have descended from a noble lineage. You have descended from a noble lineage, Arjun. You have come from the type of family that is the upholder of dharma and virtue, O great one. Parantapa, you are the one who stand ever for righteousness, O Arjun. Are you the same one that I am seeing seated in such a... So Bhagavan, of course, begins once again to speak. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Na chaitudma karanno Galiyo yadvajayam yadivo no chayu Yam vahatpa jiji vishamaste Vashtataha pramukho datarashta. But even though Bhagavan is reminding him, even though he is being reminded, still, my dear friends, still he is saying, Bhagavan, I am in a state of confusion and of uncertainty. I do not know if I should fight, and I don't know if I should not fight. That is the state of mind. That is why he sinks into that depression, that dejection. He says, Bhagavan, I don't know if I should perform my duty, and if by not performing my duty, what is to be my position? Very beautifully, Bhagavan says, this is the cause of his confusion. Karapanya dosho pahasta swabhava prichami tvam dhanasarmuddo chetaha yachreya sanishchitam brohi tanme shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. And then of course, when he is yet again, and the words of Bhagavan, my dear friend, refuses to bring comfort to him, Bhagavan says, Karpanya dosho pahasva swabhava. That, like that, he is described as Karpanya. Karpanya means that Arjun was in a state, my dear friends, of what is called dejection, or a state of his mind not being strong. But not because, my dear friends, he was concerned with any type of victory or so forth, but his feelings. You see, my dear friends, Arjun always acted in the sake of Dharma, 1 and 2. Never would he perform any action to jeopardize his true goal. And what is that true goal? Bhakti ko sadhan karke vaikunth tumhari ho, vaikunth tumhari ho. Bhakti ko sadhan karke vaikunth tumhari ho, vaikunth tumhari ho. Everybody knows that bhajan. It's an old bhajan, right? Vaikunth tumhari ye to vaikunth tumhari, vaikunth tumhari. दोनों के साधन कर ले वैकुंठ तुम्हारी हो वैकुंठ तुम्हारी. I think the purpose of this work, my dear friends, is only to enjoy all of this. This is the purpose of this work, only to enjoy all of these things that Bhagavan has provided. Fine clothing, nice jewelry, the luxuries that have been afforded to us. No, my dear friends, the purpose truly of this work is to attain God realization. Ramayana tells you that. Balaram Dada is sitting here this evening. Bade bhagya manush Rare, my dear friends, very rare it is to obtain gifts. The scripture, the Ramayana tells you it is like a chorus money. Goswami is sitting here that way. It is like a gem, a very rare gem, which we have to travel a very long time. Bhagwan ki anugrah kripa se, sirf Bhagwan ki anugrah kripa se. Only by the grace of God and nothing else but the grace of God, we get the opportunity to obtain this mortal frame. And we must always be reminded by such, my dear friends, that the true duty of, the true purpose in this world is to attain God and to use the means that have been afforded to us to secure such. Guru Puran tells you the greatness of wealth is when it is given in dhan. Truly, that is the greatness of this human body, is when it is used in service of mankind and service to God and the deities. But my dear friends, sometimes we lose track, just like Arjuna. So Bhagavan says that overwhelmed by his emotion and not being able to act in the way that he should, Bhagavan says, like this, he sits there and of course he begins to beg of Bhagavan. He says, "Oh Lord, that please explain to me. That please explain to me, Bhagavan." You see, my dear friends, they were like friends. Tanme shishyateham shaddhi mam tvam prapannam. That both Bhagavan, Sri Krishna and Arjuna were like friends. They used to share each other, and so they were considered at one level in many different ways. But when Arjuna has dropped to this state, this confusion, he looks at Bhagavan and he says, "Lord, I am no longer qualified to be an equal to you in anything." Instead, "Oh Lord, I am now your shishya. I am now your student." That, "Oh Bhagavan, ma tvam prapannam, I am prapannam. I, O Lord, instruct me." And what Arjuna is asking, my dear friends, that if we are unsure, just like Arjuna, and we seek the blessings of the Lord, that means we have surrendered completely because we do not know which way to turn again. There's a very, very beautiful bhajan. You know, when Arjuna sank into that state, and his mind was in utter confusion, and he prayed to Bhagavan. There's a very beautiful meter bhajan that is Jo tum toro piya main nahi torunge to supreet kaun Krishna kaun sang joro mein jo tum toro piya main nahi torunge to supreet kaun Krishna kaun sang joro mere Krishna Mere Krishna, jo toro piya main nahi toronge, to supreet kaun Krishna kaun sang joro. मेरे कृष्णा मेरे कृष्णा हे भगवान तुम भय सरोवर मैं हम भय मच्छिया. That you are the ocean, O Lord. You know of everything in this world. But I am the fish, O Lord, that swims within that ocean. That is why Arjun surrenders to him, my dear friends. The verse tells us very beautifully. Shishyate ham shabhi mam tvam prapannam. That, O Lord, no longer am I asking you. But instead I have placed my entire faith and my entire life, O Lord, in you. I have sought refuge in you, Bhagwan. That is when he says very beautifully, Tum bhai chanda hum bhai chakora. The chakora waits, my dear friends, and looks at the moon. And never would he take his head off of that moon. That relationship exists between both of them. So Bhagwan, Arjun is looking at Bhagwan and he says, Lord, how much more should I surrender to you? For truly this is what I am. तुम भय मोती प्रभु जी हम भय दागा तुम भय सोना तुम भय मोती प्रभु हम भय दागा तुम भय सोना मीरा के You know what is the Thakur? The Thakur is the Shaligram. He says, Lord, you are that, but Hamdasi. But me, Lord, I am the servant. But O Bhagwan, you choose as you see fit. Jo tum toro piya, main nahi toroge. So Krishna, Krishna. Swami Sangha Saboro, Mere Krishna. वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। एवं मुक्त ऋषिकेशं गोदाकेश परन्तप न योत्स इति गोविंद मुक्ता तुष्णिं बभूवः। Bhagavan, of course. Sanjay saying that, O great king, having thus spoken to Arjuna, Bhagavan, Arjuna again said that, hey Govinda, that O Govinda. Bhagavan is of course referred to as Govinda. Govinda, Jai Jai, Gopala, Jai Jai. For the truth can only be revealed, my dear friends, to that Lord known as Govind. He says, O Bhagavan, Govinda Mukta Tushyam Bhuva. I will not, O Bhagavan, pick up that arms. And Bhagavan, of course, says, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Asochanyanavshachastvam Pragyavadansha Bhashase Gata Sunagatam Sangsha Na Nusochanti Panditah. He says, Arjuna, why are you grieving? What are you grieving for? You grieve over those who don't deserve to have that right? What are you grieving over, Arjuna? Who are you grieving for? Those who are standing on the battlefield on both sides? Those who you consider to be your relations? Na tvam jato nasam, na tvaiva naje janadhipa, na chaiva na bhavishyama, sarve vayamatta param. He says, Arjuna, you know there was a time that they never existed, nor you. In this life, you know them as such, Arjuna. You have that affection towards them. But in a particular life, they bore no relation to you, O Arjuna. So therefore, what do you grieve for? Bhagavan says that. And so to us, my dear friends. You know in the Gita, in this beautiful Bhagavad Gita, life is described as a dawn of the day and night. It is like one who is in a state of dream. You see, when we begin to dream, that person who dreams, they can identify everything with that dream. Sometimes they believe that they are within the dream itself. But from the moment that person awakes, or Jagrat comes, that dream is no longer existent. Isn't that true? Isn't that correct, my dear friends? I hope we all dream. Yes. Bhagavan says such is life. That we are like that dream, we are living within a dream. And one day to come, that dream is going to end. It is going to end, and we ourselves are not going to be as part of that. That is how we describe birth and death. That period marked by birth and death, just for a few moments, my dear friends, we enjoy this what is called a transient happiness. It is short-lived. And through it we form all sorts of attachments and relations. But truly Bhagavan is asking Arjuna. He says, "O Arjuna, tell me, what are you grieving for? The few days that you will have relations in this world, Baba will tell you when we go to the Gita Path and we try to give comfort to the families. But what are you really grieving for? For the time is going to come." And then he begins to explain to Arjuna that, "Oh, Matra Sparsha Sukaunteya, Shitushna Sukha Dukkada, Agamayat Niyo, Nityam Yastam Stitikshava Bharat." That for a few moments that we spend in this world, my dear friends, we make contact with the objects of this world. In other words, the objects meaning our family, our friends, our material happiness. And in a few moments, my dear friends, we make contact with these. It gives rise to all sorts of feelings. We get pleasure, we get pain, we get heat, we get cold, not so, by the contact of the senses with an object. In other words, when we connect to a relative, that person is there with us, we get happiness. But when that person is taken away from us, what happens? We feel sorrow. We experience sorrow. Whenever heat is applied to our palms, and it is too close, our palms are too close to the heat, we get pain. And whenever there is a rubbing sensation, we get pleasure. So Bhagavan says that, "O Arjuna, although those feelings are there, they are only there for a time. But Arjuna, they may even be on the border of being unreal. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yam hinabhyayam teta purusham purusharashava samadukha sukham dhiram somrittatvaya kalpate. The person, my dear friends, he's telling Arjuna, he says, "Oh Arjuna, because of the contact that you have made with your relations, because your Bhishma is considered to be your great uncle, he has given you the love and the affection. Dronacharya is your guru, and so you have that love towards him. That connection exists between you and Dev Arjuna, and because of such, you feel that guilt within your heart to do truly what is your noble duty in this world." And he's telling him, he says, "Arjuna, the man who can remain firmly, his mind can remain firm, whether in heat or cold, happiness or pleasure." In other words, my dear friends, he must remain one way, in spite of pleasure or pain, which is very difficult to attain. It is very difficult to move one's mind to such. He says, "Oh Arjuna, that person, of course, who can maintain that type, know him, O Arjuna, to be the one, the inheritor of immortality. So mritattvaya kalpate, he is going to escape from this cycle." Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antavanta imam deha nityasyoka shanina anashino pramiyasya tasmad yustvasva bharata. And all of this that has been spoken of to Arjuna, all of these bodies that you see here, they are what are called perishable. Well, the Gita uses, but they will be destroyed after a time. Just like everything else in this world, my dear friends. It is temporary. But Arjuna, listen. Anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharat. But listen, O Arjuna, there is one that is not destroyed easily. In fact, it is not destroyed at all. It is imperishable. It is everlasting. That Arjuna is referred to as the soul. The soul that inside the body may be destroyed thousands and thousands of times, O Arjuna. But the soul, O Arjuna, remains there, imperishable. It is part of